A very good morning to you. Welcome to the newspaper review segment of Quest Today on Quest Television and, of course, Quest FM. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's a midweek edition of the newspaper reviews this morning. My name is Alex Obunnaya. Today I am not alone as usual. I have here with me Comrade Efe Odomo. Comrade Efe Odomo, good morning to you.
Yes, just as like you've not changed your name, I've also not changed my name. I'm also, I remain Comrade Efe Odomo.
It reminds me of a popular Ijaw chief.
Yes, I think I'm related somehow to the
I won't say his name. Not that there's nothing wrong with saying his name though, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, but I understand.
It's great to have you around, sir.
Yeah, God bless you.
Interesting. Okay, there are 5 papers up for review this morning. The Guardian, The Nation, Punch newspaper, Tribune newspaper, and the Daily Trust. And without much ado, let's delve straight. And we're going to start off with the Guardian newspaper. And on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, insecurity defies 261 National Assembly motions, 20 legislations, 12 trillion naira in 16 years. That's the lead story on the front page. I can hear Comrade Odomo giggling to that. Okay, let's look at the next story below that one. Senate reopens probe of 11.35 trillion naira TM cost, 1.6 trillion naira loss on refineries. So much money up here in the air this morning. Despite 6.5 trillion naira spent on education in 7 years, federal government laments poor performance. You can read up that story on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And still on the front page of the Guardian, Lagos doctor bags life imprisonment for defiling wife's niece.
An unfortunate life.
Yeah, it is indeed an unfortunate one. Off-season polls, court judgment impeding preparations, INEC laments. That's also on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Below that one, the electoral system and dagger of over litigation. And let's take one last story from the Guardian newspaper before we move over to another one. Troops neutralize 9 ISWAP terrorists, arrest logistics supplier in Borno. That can be read on page 28. Okay, moving on now, let's go to the Guardian newspaper. Federal government unfolds forex, tax, jobs, investment policy. I don't know if it's on your screen. The Nation newspaper, the lead story on its front page. Federal government unfolds, okay, you have it on your screen now. Federal government unfolds forex, tax, jobs, investment policies. That's the lead story. It comes with a rider. 250 taxes to be slashed to single digit. Merging of BDCs, forex apps, dealers into official foreign exchange market. Okay, moving on now to another story. Oil thieves deploy CCTV mortar launches along pipeline routes. NNPCL security, we won't relent in battle against criminals. And in Ondo State, Akeredolu receives Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, Abiodun, Oyebanji, Ayedatiwa Rights Chief Judge. I did say we've not heard the last. We've not really heard the last on the issue in Ondo State. Well, let's see. EFCC chair orders staff members to declare assets. Senate defends 160 million naira SUV for National Assembly members. Land racketeering rocks FCTA. Land racketeering rocks FCTA. You can read up that story on page 5. And U.S. court rejects request for FBI's report on Tinubu. That's on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Let's quickly turn our attention to the Punch now. Punch, multiple taxation. Tinubu panel asks government to drop 190 taxes. OPS blames state. That's the organizer, private sector. Panel okays 10 levies, says 200 taxes burdensome, lobbies National Assembly, states. President endorses tax reforms, panel to address FIRS pledges implementation. Okay. Above the masthead, Senate probes 11 trillion naira refinery repairs summons Kyari. EFCC chair who orders staff to declare assets. That's above the masthead. And reps fault CBN's forex ban lift. NECA kicks. Lagos cancer doctor Olaleye bags life jail for rape. The story is everywhere. Broke yesterday. DSS nabs suspected terrorist wife, recover 150 AK-47 rifles. Wow. Real gun running business. Okay. Let's see. This one is not very clear now, but slain Nigerian students, Philippines police file murder case against suspects. Okay, that's a good one. The other day we saw Nance kicking against it, calling for the perpetrators to be arrested and brought to book. Okay, now the Nigerian Tribune, Senate justifies purchase of 160 million naira SUVs, says Nigerians should examine lifestyle of ministers, probes 11.35 trillion naira spent on refineries, maintenance since 2010. And still on the front page, above the masthead of the Tribune newspaper, Clerk to Tinubu amend NDDC Act to exclude Imo, Abia, Ondo as non-Niger Delta states. And court sentences Lagos doctor Olaleye to life imprisonment for raping wife's niece. That's on page 12. U.S. court denies urgent request for release of Tinubu's dossier. That's on page 28 of the Nigeria Tribune. Reps invite CBN governor over lifting of forex ban on 43 items to prove Benue bank robbery. You can read up that story on page 12. And Nigeria to vaccinate 7.7 million girls against leading cause of cervical cancer. That's on page 21. Southwest governors visit Akeredolu in Ibadan. Ondo deputy governor tackles assembly over letter to CJ, tells CJ to disregard letter to investigate him. And finally, federal government unveils plans to reduce collectible taxes, says Nigerians burdened by over 200 taxes. That is on page 21. And finally, this morning, it's the Daily Trust. UN Secretary General accuses Israel of violating international humanitarian law. That's on the war on Gaza. Says we must oppose anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry. Israel ambassador calls for Guterres' resignation. Israel police shut down Alaska mosque. All of that you can find on page 6, or rather page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Directly below your masthead comes this one: Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo governorship polls, INEC chair raises alarm over violence. And elder statesman Ademu Fika dies at 90. How banditry forced Zamfara residents out of their homes. That's also on the front page of Daily Trust. Senate defends exotic cars for members, says Nigeria roads bad. Bandits raid Kaduna Mosque, gunned down Imam, worshipper. Wow, that's a sad one. And Lagos doctor bags life jail for defiling wife's niece. I did say this story is everywhere. Okay, that's that for the papers. We're gonna let me come over to you now, Comrade Odomo. Let's start with the Lagos doctor, because I think the story is everywhere, and that's what's trending lately.
Yes.
Both on social media and conventional media space. Dr. Olaleye is now going to spend, we now know he will be spending the rest of his life in jail, except he gets a pardon. But of course, that's not going to come anytime soon, though.
No, I don't think so, too, because the way this gender offense, the defenders of gender abuse, the way they are going about this matter these days, I don't think the man will even get any reprieve at all. Because actually, when you look at the whole thing, it sounds very funny. That it didn't take place in his space of a week or weeks. It's almost about 2-3 years that the guy was consistently meeting the wife's sister. But I should think that, well, as a human being, I think the punishment is harsh, but I think that is the law. Yeah, then for his age, I don't think he's an old man. He's a very young man. For him to spend the next 30-40 years in jail, it would have been better for him to have been sentenced to, well, let me not go that far, but I think it's a long-term suffering. If the law can actually be applied to every other aspect of the criminality, I think it will teach us a very, very good lesson. That is one thing I normally tell people, and people will tell me that, no, boy, that's a very bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. If you know the type of husband you have, do not allow your sisters to come here. Because if you tell the market women not to stain the Reverend Father's white, because they're always on white, with palm oil, you should also be able to advise the Reverend Father not to walk past where they sell oil. Because if he does, definitely he must be stained. For goodness sake, your own sister as a wife is not your husband's sister. And your husband will look at that lady as any other girl on the streets. So, let us be careful. Do not put a fish on the way of the cat and start blaming the cat that the cat ate the fish. I'm not supporting what the man did, actually.
True.
But we should take precautionary measures against this type of things. Well, I wish the man best of luck in the process. He can still be a medical doctor to the inmates, too. He has not lost anything. They just removed him from the society, put him in a closet to be taking care of the people there. Okay,
talk us through this now. Government says Nigerians are faced with so many taxation and all that. They want to reduce out the burden. And, are they just realizing this, or is it just for the papers or for the press?
No, they're not just realizing it. But the thing is, if we're looking for a safe landing field to implement these things, actually, if you reduce these taxes, it will force down the prices of commodities. Because we pay too many taxes. You buy, you pay. You want to you take your money to the banks, you pay, and the way even the banks are charging them these days, you won't even know that they are charging you taxes. One maintenance charge, USSD charge, unicorn charge. At the end of the day, you will think the money they are charging you is small.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you charge somebody 5.68 kobo, which most banks do, multiply by 10 million people in a day, multiply by 30 days, 31 days, then you know how much that is going into one singular account. There was a guy in US that did this thing some years back. He became a multi-millionaire without stealing the company's or the bank's money. What he did was he programmed the machine into 4 decimal places for the office income, while from the 4 decimal place till infinitesimal, he channeled it to another account. So when the guy was living large, living big, people were now wondering, how is this man making his money? Until they went and they brought computer experts and they investigated the site. But you cannot prosecute him, man. The bank's money was not missing. It was his intelligence he used. So if they have to remove some of these taxes that we pay, actually quickly people get to the federal treasury, it will push down prices of commodities, and people will now have more money in their pockets to do more business. So I think it's a good step in the right direction. If possible, they can sustain it better.
Okay.
I don't know whether they will be able to sustain the heat.
Okay, at this juncture now, let's see if we can throw the phone lines open. If you are watching, the number is going to be on your screen very, very shortly. And if you're listening on radio, the numbers are 081-888-88931. I said that again, 081-888-88931 or 0802-931-931. Those are the numbers. Keep the calls coming. Make your comments very brief so as to allow as many persons as possible to also join in the conversation. Okay, there's a caller already. Hi, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Tell us your name, please.
Hello, good morning.
Wonderful. Morning. Tell us your name.
Yeah, my name is Ike, and I'm calling from Uwili.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, my brother, good morning to the honorable bishop. I'm back on very well.
Okay, now I'm lost.
So, my take is this.
Okay, go ahead.
That doctor that was sentenced to life imprisonment for raping his sister's wife, we have more grievous offenses than that. I'm not supporting the doctor anyway.
Okay.
But we have lots of politicians that have stolen our money, that indirectly affecting the masses, killing the masses. Yes, these people are working freely. Then we are talking about a rape. So a doctor that raped his wife and niece, and he was given a life imprisonment. Why our judges said they are selective in their judgment? This is not good. This is not, they should prosecute our politicians who have stolen our money and give them back, let them back life imprisonment.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you heard him.
Yes,
you said a short while ago that you think the punishment was a bit harsh.
A bit harsh.
And I want to also...
cut across board.
Yeah, you know...
Not only in this rape issues. A crime is a crime. Like we normally say, every rascal is a criminal. But it's not every criminal that is a rascal.
Okay, let's return to the phone lines now. If there's any caller, let's get your thoughts on any of the topics. Hi, good morning to you.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Lovely morning. Good morning. Tell us your name,
Good morning.
please.
Mr. Edepo, good morning, sir.
God bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Friday.
Okay.
From Mr.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a Wednesday morning here. Go ahead.
Okay. Senate justify SUV. I want to say that is out of greed. Out of greed. That out of greed. They should refrain from that justification. It is not good. We have many important things to attend to in this country. And another one, talking about our children that are dying in Philippines. I think it's because of the weakness of our government. That weakness of our government has rendered our citizens in foreign countries. They are not indisposed to many harassment, many intimidation. So let the government of this country sit up so that there will be a sort of they will project our citizens in foreign countries.
Okay.
In a very stable state. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me come back to you, comrade.
Yes.
160 million naira for one SUV. Multiply that by the number of lawmakers we have.
We have 109 senators.
Huge amount of money, and these guys are defending it.
You are not, when you give that type of car to the senators, you should also be sure that you give, if not the same level, a bit lower
to
the House of Reps. And when you do that, it snowballs to the House of Assembly. And when the House of Assembly gets there, it goes to the local government. So there is no end.
So when will it get to us?
Definitely. We are waiting. I hope that we don't wait until we pass on before the non-affecting line in state.
Okay.
But actually, that is not a laughing matter at all. The economy is not good. You are giving each person 160 million times 109. How much is that? That is enough to have a very big capital project in this country. If you do that, and I'm very sure every 4 years they will be doing it, because the next people will come in. Like we said, was it Monday? But some of these people there, they are not there for the first time.
True.
They've been there for 4 or 5 times. So if you not have this type of cars for somebody, 4 of it before he retires from the lawmaking chamber, I don't think they will retire unless they lost the elections.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't have retired politicians. We can only have a defeated politician.
Let me stop you. Let's just go to Ondo State. There seems to be a lot happening in that state in the past 24 hours. Governors from the southeast are visiting
Southwest.
Southwest. Thank you for that. Are going to Oyo State to pay obeisance to him. This is somebody who used to be in Ondo State, but he's in Ibadan. And even while he's there, the House has kick-started the impeachment process against his deputy.
Don't you know that there is a specific period of time that you will be absent from the office and then you will be impeached? It's only that the law is slipping over that aspect. What is driving him away from Akure? Is there voodoo in that house? If there is voodoo, is there any other place he can stay in Akure? This thing, people can just look at it that it may be certain now. It's not certain now. This thing dated back into the early 19s. That is around 20 something or so. The time of Olate Olagbegi. All these things have been there. When the king will run away from the throne, when they went to an oracle, the oracle said this king will reign for so number of years. He will be deposed. He will be in exile for so number of years. He will come back and take over his reign for another so years before he dies. That thing came to reality. It came to pass when Ajashin was in office, the former governor Adekunle Ajashin. When they wanted to install another king, Ajashin said, no, we have a king in exile. Then they brought the man back. The man's name is Olate Olagbegi. Now it has come to the governorship. If you know that you cannot continue governing these people from their place, you are not supposed to be governing them in proxy. You were voted for to sit down there, work with these people, develop the state, and then when your tenure is over, you leave. So if you see if you know there is anything that is making you not to remain in the state, either you state your reason or you honorably leave your office.
Let me come in. Why is he finding it difficult to resign, throwing the towel? You said the other day, you see, you're sick. It's not something you should be ashamed of. So what stops him from, hey guys, look, I can't continue anymore. I gotta go. Let my deputy take over. Let me go take care of myself.
Nigerians, most especially, because we are discussing Nigerian issue now, resignation is not in our lexicon. It's never in our lexicon. Then to the larger extent of African nations, it is not. Look at that. Which country is that they were carrying the head of state out of the vehicle? They were carrying him, they were guiding him here and there.
I think that was Paul Biya? Or
not even Biya, very tall. I think it's in Sri Lanka or somewhere like that.
Okay, outside Africa.
Yes, and that's it. People are still very loyal to him. The man cannot raise a matches from the ground. People are still loyal to him. If you are sick, for goodness sake, anybody can be sick, anybody can die. There is no timetable for sickness, there is no timetable for death. If it happens to anyone, All you need to do is to pray for that person. But for you to continue to force yourself that you must serve, even when you are incapacitated, is the problem we are talking about. In that case, the dead leaders, we should put their clothes on their chest in the office, and somebody should be making laws for them. If may God have mercy upon me, and may God heal him on time. If he dies, will the state not continue? Assuming now that he dies, will the state not continue? He wasn't the first governor, he wasn't the second governor, he wasn't even the past administration governor. So why is it that he must not leave? Nobody has monopoly of wisdom. It cuts across the board. Anybody can be there. If you leave now, you'll be surprised that somebody that comes in will even do better. Okay.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ife Odomo. This is where we'll call it a day today on the review segment, the paper review segment on Quest today. Before we go, I want to say a big thank you to those who have made this program a success. I want to thank Comrade Odomo for coming and, of course, giving us this part angle to this. And those who called in too, thank you so much for being part of the program. My name is Alex Obunaya, but before I go, finally, let's say a big thank you to Vanguard Newspapers for sponsoring this segment of The Quest today. Good morning.